Hi, Peter Charles here, Hooked for Life Fly Fishing, and welcome to my second attempt at active nymphing. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know what I'm talking about. It's imitating a lasering lift, the way mayflies go up and down when they're during an emergence, but I'm doing it over the entire drift. I'm not doing it just at the end. So I've this time around I'm going to be using my Loomis IMX-PRO 10-foot 2/8 Euro nymphing rod, which proved to be ideal for the job. Loved it. And I'm just using my regular Euro nymphing nymphs. I don't have anything specialized for it. We'll cover that in the next video. I'm going to tie some flies and show you the style I'm going to be using for this method, and also how I'm going to attach it to the leader, which is an important part of it. So let's get going. And in this particular video, we're going to look at the takes that I'm receiving. I should mention I fished for a little under an hour. I landed 4 fish, missed a couple of little ones, probably creek chubs if the truth is known. Out of the 4, 3 of them were small and 1 was fairly decent. So let's take a look. So here I'm making a mistake. I'm too quick. I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down very, very fast. And as a consequence of that, I'm not giving enough time for the nymph to actually sink. So you don't want to be bouncing up and down so quickly. You want some time in between to let the nymph go down. The second problem here, I'm showing you here, see the line bowing like this? Very windy day. I should have been dropping my rod tip, leaving less line out of the guides to take the wind out of the game, because it was fouling up my rise and drop by holding everything up. So that wasn't good. I had to compensate, as I say, by dropping my rod tip. Here's another example. It just started to blow and just pulled everything right up out of the water. So doing this on a windy day, you really need to drop the rod tip. So it's not really high sticking at that point. So here I am. I'm going to hook a small one, and it's right in front of that log pile, which is no surprise. So let's take a look at how this happens. I start to lift up. You see the float come out of the water, and then it stops, and the fish is on. So that's a perfect example of a hit on the rise. You know, you saw the float come out of the water, and then it just stopped and started to shake when the little guy grabbed it. You know, that's a typical take. I think I've had 2 exactly the same as that. I got it about halfway out of the water and bang. So they see that nymph go up and they chase. And that's often small trout behavior. They're quite willing to chase. So in this one's another small one, only it's different. In this case, it's on the drop. I lift it up, rise the nymph, drop it back down, wait, and then you see the float go into the water. And bang, there's a fish on. So that's a perfect example. I dropped it down and kept my eye on the indicator or the float. And when that went under the water, it went under the water and upstream. And then I just, set the hook and away we went. Again, it was just a little guy, but it was a good example of how the takes can occur. So on this one, this is a bit better fish, and it's just into the deeper water, and I come out of the shallow water into the deeper water, and he took the fly. Now I had to put him on the reel because he was a good sized fish. I shouldn't say good size. It was a nice fish. These are stream bred browns. They've got lots of fight. Now watch this. This is on the lift. I start to lift up, and the fish is there. So in other words, the fish probably just saw it go down and start to go back up, and bang, it's on. So that's what you're looking at for types of takes, is that you're going to see takes on the way down, you're going to see takes on the way up, and you're going to see takes at the bottom. And you might have a take near the top too. If there's a hatch going on, you might get a take right at the very top. When it starts to go down, they might nail it. That might be the trickiest to pick up, because in this particular case, all of these were really easy to see. And what's interesting is this creek has been fishing very tough over the last few years. There's not a lot of fish in the creek. When I've been Euro nymphing it or using an indicator, my results have not been as good as this. maybe one fish in an hour, two fish in an hour if I'm lucky. And a lot of the times I think it's because especially with the little guys, you don't feel the takes, you don't see the takes. And with this method, I am seeing the takes, feeling the takes. It's working like a charm. I can't complain at all. So I think from that perspective, active nymphing is probably a more reliable way to detect takes and know that the fish is there, because you're in contact with the fly most of the time, and when you're not, it's under tension with the to the float, so you can have a chance of seeing the float move. So there's this fish. It's I don't know, 12 inches, something like that. I didn't really go into the measurements, but the net opening is 16, so it gives me a good feel for it. It's somewhere around 12, probably 12, 13 inches. So it's a lovely fish. I can catch fish like that all day and be happy, especially on a 10-foot two weight. It's quite a tussle. So it's a lot of fun. I like active nymphing because I find it less boring than just watching an indicator all day go up and down the run. You are involved. I find my brain is more awake when I do this. It probably accounts for the fact why I hook more fish too. And the other thing to note is this is a method that should be best employed when there's some kind of emergence going, especially that's kind of sporadic emergence where there's a bug over here and then 2 minutes later there's a bug over there. It's not really what we would call a hatch. It's just the odd one here and there. I wasn't getting that today. There was nothing happening, and I was still getting fish hitting that fly. So in my next video, we're going to get onto the flies, and I've put a lot of work into trying to figure out what's the best style. I've been putting them through my test tank, and I think I've come up with a good way to do this. So stay tuned for the next one. Cheers.